welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. Thank you all so much for joining us. This is episode 89. This is going to be the last episode of 2025. Thank you all so much for joining us. We have an amazing ride this year. We're going to see the end of the sets 1 through 3 starting in a couple of months. And I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about like kind of a SWU holiday wish list for FFG. Maybe we'll get a couple cool things out of them. Maybe we could kind of push them, even though they've already submitted their cards and changes months and months beforehand. But it's still kind of a little fun to do. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the PQ results from the last couple of weeks. This week there was only one PQ, and the rest of them were from the week before. And they were a smaller batch, but we'll kind of talk a little bit about those as well. As is Yoda Data Vault S tier? Is it a problem? Do we need to give it a nerf? And if we nerf it, what happens? With that being said, please welcome to the show tonight, the bench warmer himself, Mr. Alex. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing okay. Just got back from Marty Supreme. That was a really good acting job on Timothée Chalamet. Weird movie. Would recommend. But I'm excited. I've been working on some decks, just brewing up some ideas. So I'll be testing them in the next couple weeks.
Fair enough. Also joining us tonight is JJ. The Giants still suck, but the Lions are coming in hot on their heels, it seems. How are you tonight, sir?
I mean, doing well. I actually just came back from Orlando visiting family for Christmas. Got to pick up some extra carts over there at Cool Stuff, which is my old store. Wish I had time to actually sit down and play a couple of games, which I did with the family, but I wanted to get some more game stuff done there. But having a fun time over there. Got to do Galaxy's Edge over the previous weekend with the family, and was very, very pleasantly surprised to see Andor content in the ride itself. So it was cool to see Diego Luna reprise his role just for Star Tours. And I got my Star Wars Santa hat, as the official merch of Planning Phase Syndicate now. Got it. So, wearing it.
Oh, JJ trying to sell Star Wars merch on the show. Not gonna happen.
On a side note, I am very happy that Star Killers, my X-Wing team is ranked higher than what is it, the Wolfpack, who's number 4 right now in the rankings. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's what happens when somebody else chooses me and I just lose. So
I'm just waiting for myself to be drafted randomly one of these times. Number 250, we'll take Alex. We'll bring him out of retirement, see what happens. It's technically still in the Discord server there. You never know.
Yeah, the only way to get drafted, though, you have to actually sign up. Greg does a whole sign up.
I know. So. I've done it before. I was on your guys' team.
You know what? Hey,
yep,
JJ,
sure.
Hold on. I'm going to mute Alex. Hold on a second. All right. You know what we can do? We could just go sign Alex up. I have Alex's email address. We could just actually go sign him up for the league for season 9. Okay. Bringing Alex back in. All right. So anyway, we'll talk about that later, JJ.
Yeah, dude, you muted me. You didn't mute my audio hearing that. You just muted me talking.
All right. Well, hopefully you all had a good holiday and time off this past week. I have all of next week off, so I don't know. I'll probably be streaming games on the server, but I don't know. We're hopefully. I make plans, and it just sucks because I hate Michigan weather so much. I just despise it. We're supposed to get a snowstorm tonight and tomorrow morning, and I'm supposed to go to Ann Arbor to visit family tomorrow. And it's
what happens when you live on the wrong coast?
Well,
that lake effect.
I know. Well, I don't get a choice in that. So yeah, I don't know. That kind of sucks. I was very excited to go see my brother and sister-in-law and talk and hang out with them for a couple of days and go to some museums. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what gets to happen with the snowstorm. So yeah. But we before we get too far into the episode, I want to, again, make sure everybody knows this is the last episode for the year, technically. Next Saturday or next Sunday will probably be a shorter recording. If we do a shorter recording, it kind of depends on scheduling and stuff like that. Sam had some personal stuff kind of come up out of the blue, and he was not able to make it tonight. But yeah, I hope you all are enjoying the lull to some extent. We changed our locals up, so we're trying to play more fun decks. We did a Twin Suns. I don't know, did I tell you guys about the Twin Suns we did?
Was it like a Chaos Twin Suns that we've been running on this side?
No, that's on the agenda. We are going to run a Chaos Twin Suns at some
JJ
point.
would love that. One pack
Yeah.
of every set, JJ. Make a Twin Suns, usually 40 card deck or so out of it.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Love it.
But I did I had my double Thrawn one, but I didn't play the double Thrawn. I decided I would, be a little bit more cheeky and play something I thought was like less imperative. And it didn't matter.
Double Jabba.
No, I didn't get to play double Jabba. That I did play Jabba, but it was not double Jabba. I wanted to play double Jabba, which is, I don't know, that, like I think that like especially once we get the new set drop, like Twin Suns just gets to be all these double hero, double villain, formats. But Mike actually took it down with Sabine and Obi 3. Like Sabine just pings, you can take your damage, and then he can just clean the damage up, and his units live longer. And then my nephew built his own and like won 3 out of the 4 games, like because like he wasn't a threat, like he wasn't doing anything, and his base wasn't a threat, nothing. And then all of a sudden, like we'd all be attacking each other, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh shit, we forgot about
no one did the math.
Yeah, we forgot about Xavier. So that was kind of fun. We didn't have locals last week. We don't have them this week because of all the holidays and when it falls on the holidays. So fortunately, I haven't been able to play a lot of SWU. But I thought we'd kick the show off and talk a little bit about holiday wish list for Star Wars Unlimited. And this is a little different. So this is again, I would call this tongue in cheek, right? Like that's kind of more what this is. Like if we
semi-serious.
Yeah, it's like, do not take this as we think the world is falling, blah blah blah. Because I even with Yoda Data Vault on the rise, I still don't actually think we're in a bad place list wise. And we'll get to that. We'll talk about that because the Yoda Data Vault's obviously the new boogeyman. Or boogie woman, I don't know, whatever, boogie person. There you go. And so like, I think like that's the big thing like people are worried about. So we thought before we get into any of that stuff, let's talk a little bit about a holiday wish list. So I decided to say, hey, okay, if we had 3 hopes for Lawless in Time, and this one's like super just, we're kind of just guessing here, right? Because they've already sent it to print, it's already printed, and it's already probably at the distributors or on its way to distributors at this point. So I don't think there could change much, but I thought I would just do, these are kind of some of the hopes that we're going to have for Lawless in Time. And what we'll do is we'll start with JJ. JJ, tell us what your hopes are for set 7.
Yeah, so one of the first things I wanted to that I really hope for is kind of support for some of the newer shows that have come in as of recent years for Star Wars. We got stuff like The Acolyte, which has been pretty good. We have The Skeleton Crew, which is a really popular show as well. Hope to see some more cards coming from those particular shows to kind of help with it. I think definitely Skeleton Crew kind of fits the theme more for A Lawless Time because you have quite a number of different pirates in there that you can choose from in order to add in characters on there. That would be pretty cool. And then, of course, if you with Lawless Time, you got people that are trying to control or enforce order from the fringe, like early Acolyte times for like the Jedi and stuff. That'd be cool to see. The other thing I hope is to kind of see. Yeah.
Hold on a second. So you do know we had some support from Acolyte, right?
Yeah, I want more support.
Technically, Vanessa Shiro, even though she's older in that one, is technically like the card itself is from High Republic, but she's also in the High Republic, and you're not getting your leader choice that you wanted, that you didn't even guess this time. You're not getting that. That's never going to happen in the life of this game. It's not happening.
It would be cool to see Soul though. Like I would love to see a Soul card. That'd be great. My other hope is to see a couple more reprints from set 1 and 2. Now we've already seen stuff like the Contraband Skyhopper, which got a reprint for the previous set, although it lost its smuggle ability. But it'll be cool to see some of the first set and second set cards be brought over again in the new decks, just to have that flavor for, especially for people who are coming back into the game who don't necessarily have access to those original cards that came in from those first 2 sets. Not to mention that some of those cards are going away with set 2 being phased out starting this next set here. That'll be cool. The other is more support for spandex. Now, it's not terribly a meta choice. I mean, I don't think anybody's gone in with like 17 vultures in their decks just to play that, but it'll be cool to see something that's viable like that, especially with like Ewoks or battle droids or porgs. That would be great, to see something like that come in for Lawless time.
More porg piles.
Porg piles. Yeah. I actually have a porg. I put a porg in my twin son's deck and was able to draw it and play it for the and have a whole bunch of things stacked on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, the curious flock.
Yep. But it got killed right away, but it was kind of fun. All right, Alex, what are some of your hopes for Lawless in Time?
I mean, some of these are pretty similar to JJ's, but the first one I would want is for some more printed cards of non-evergreen keywords like smuggle, exploit, coordinate, stuff like that. It's because they're really fun and they're cool mechanics. They might break something in the Eternal format, so they got to be a little bit weary of that. Can't just print crazy smuggle cards for Hondo or something to come out, right? Or exploit for Dooku. But I think those are really cool mechanics. I would like to see them come back. And then kind of along the line here with JJ, I would like some support for the less popular traits. There's a lot of Rebels, Imperials, Underworld stuff, but I'd be cool with some more Mandalorians or creatures or fringe or something. Have some sort of fringe payoff that's not that really random card that's just they just get shields. The fringe guys. That blue sentinel that no one remembers. And lastly, I would I don't know, much along the lines of you guys, some reprints, specifically for some control cards. I just want a Rivals Fall. That's all I really ever want to ask for, right? It's just keep all Rivals Fall in the game. Make it 7. I don't really care. I need some sort of clean out to something if something catastrophic has happened. I like Merciless Contest, right? Who's going to complain about Merciless Contest? It's just your 4th through 6th copies of Power of the Dark Side, except for there's theoretically a drawback.
Awesome. So I'll go over Sam. Sam's hopes for Lawless in Time is kind of like you said, he wants a revival of older mechanics, pilots and force. He wants his prediction for Han to be correct. I don't know why he can't have one set without Han, but that's fine, I guess.
There's Twilight.
Yeah, exactly. And then he also wants to talk about, or wanted them to be heavily supporting the Eternal format competitively, which
they will have Eternal PQs.
Yes.
Eternal format PQs. So at least they're supporting it with that.
Yeah. As for me, my bigger thing is reprinting staple cards from set 1 that are not rares and legendaries. There you go. I'll just say it. Let's
Open
reprint.
Fire.
Give me Open Fire back. I'm very happy to have an Open Fire card, Power of the Dark Side card. Yep, give me a Power to the Dark Side card. That card is
OB
amazing.
is uncommon.
Yep, Overwhelming Barrage. Would love that card back. And I don't care if they want to change the staple or the flavor of them up a little bit. That's fine too, right? Maybe it's blue, black for Power of the Dark Side, or maybe it costs 4. Or I don't care, but I don't know. To me, some of these staples need to come back. I don't care about the Lukes or the Hans or the Vaders, right? We have enough new ones of those units. I don't care about the units, but I do care about the actual power cards that I play the game with. And yes, Open Fire 100% is one of them. I would say Power Failure is, or Confiscate, right? I really would like to continue to have a Confiscate of some sort. Or a Fang Fighter. Give me a bloody Fang Fighter, anyway, that was kind of my things. I want Watto Leader to be able to interact with the new credit tokens, and then I want more than 30% of the cards to have dual aspects. And what I mean by that is not just the hero red. I want green, red hero, or green, red, black. Let's change. Let's mess with all the numbers, baby. Like that's when the maths will get crazy, and Alex and I will have
It makes my DJ leader a lot better.
It'll be serendipitous, good old time, baby. So those are kind of our hopes for Lawless. We also thought we'd do what were the top 3 things that we think we would like out of SWU, right? And this is probably more long term things that can kind of happen, you know, as we go forward. So JJ, what are your top 3 things you want from SWU?
Yeah, so one of the first things I really want is FFG to really showcase their spotlight decks with the new mechanics to draw new players, right? You know, you want new players coming into the game or returning players coming back into the game to really be knowledgeable for new mechanics and see the new cards that are playing in. So definitely having FFG deliver that to the various streaming outlets or their various podcasters to help showcase that definitely would be cool, or for them to have more more showcases like where they themselves stream like showcasing these particular decks and really explaining the mechanics for it just to build up the hype for those spotlight decks. I think that would be a really great thing for FFG to do. The other thing, definitely in agreement with you for more multi-aspect cards for the game, you know, having like red, green, or yellow, blue. I would also like to see like double-sided, like light side, dark side. Like that would be kind of cool to see that in a limited aspect, of course, because not every person has that, you know, capacity to do that. But you know, I look at people like Ray, you know, that had they dipped into the dark side for a bit and went back to the light, or Kylo Ren, for instance.
I wouldn't
Like
say
Han
Ray
Solo,
dipped
Kylo
into the
Ren.
dark side, really, but
Like,
Kylo, sure.
Kylo, Quinlan Voss. Why don't you say Quinlan Voss
Quinlan
is
Voss,
a great
yes.
Dooku.
Yeah, or Asajj.
Yep,
Yeah,
Dooku.
Dooku, you know, that'd be cool. And it'll be great to see like stuff like that, right? Like especially certain conditions are met, then they flip over to the other side, like stuff like that. Like that would be kind of cool to do. They don't necessarily have to be super powerful or anything like that, but it just adds another flavor to the game. And lastly is trying to see a little more support officially for alternate formats like Twin Suns and stuff, or like the trilogies format, or like or even brand new formats that like include other players or more players into the format. That'd be really something cool to see, especially in a competitive format, just to offer things or a variety of different types of events officially with support from FFG. That'd be something fun to add to the game, I think.
So if they do a competitive Twin Suns tournament in Vegas this year, will you come to Vegas then?
I would love to. Yeah.
How do you even enforce something like that?
I don't know. All I know is that like I have no idea. All I do know though is that they do Commander and Magic, right?
Yeah.
And it does work. I don't know how competitive it is, but like that's the most popular Magic format, really, because it's the cheapest to buy into. I did play Magic this weekend too, by the way. So.
Gross.
Yeah. So I might be playing a little bit more Magic on and off.
Gross.
Yeah. Just as an FYI. Anyway, so
JJ wants his cards notched so he can put the maneuvering templates from X-Wing in them, so he can maneuver on a 3x3 foot board to play his game.
That has to go on the next page for the insanely crazy ones that we have.
JTL 2 only ships. All cards are notched.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna you can set your maneuver dial for it. Like, do you have the old X-Wing maneuver dial? It's cool. All right, Alex. Alex, what are your top 3?
I want some sort of competitive format for my favorite format of trilogy, like a PQ trilogy. Trilogy's so fun. It's so interesting. The deck building choices are wild. The way you have to fit your decks together to cover your weaknesses so you don't just auto lose to like your opponent's one deck twice. It's so cool. It's so fun. I hope they like rotate between like Eternal and Trilogy PQs. That'd be it's just so fun. I love Trilogy. I wish we could play it more.
With Trilogy, would you allow to have like could you have an Eternal Trilogy PQ so that way you could use all the old cards but also have
they have like the Premier Trilogy and Eternal Trilogy, so I guess I think I would prefer a Premier Trilogy PQ over an Eternal Trilogy PQ. just in general, but I'm not opposed to either.
Fair enough.
I would also like. I think this is kind of cool if they were to reprint cards, at least give them like alternate art. You know, they haven't. Like Death Troopers are still the same art, but it'd be fun. Like if they ever did it, I think like Magic does that, right? Like a lot of games do that, so why not? And then also like I don't know. I mean, like that's essentially what they're doing already, but like to kind of redo or retrain some of the old leaders. Um, and like I know like we have 3 different Jawas now, right? Or a couple different Anakins, but like if they bring back like set 1 Jyn Erso, but make her like deploy on 5 or something, have roughly the same mechanic, but like something that makes it a little bit more competitive, or like Hera, give her better stats, set 1 Hera, or like have her come out a turn earlier, or a better ability, or something like that, or like an alternate ability. It's like, hey, you could play the Spectre cards, and for 2 resources, you can give a non-green card an experience token or something, right? Something to switch it up, but like still keeping the rough same idea they were going for their old ones.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at like Vader, right? Like Vader was never really a broken character ever. Like Vader's set 1. And you could almost bring him back and say, okay, well, instead of him coming out on 7, have him come out on 6 resources, but we're going to change it so he can't just do 2 damage to something every single bloody time.
1 or something.
Yeah. Have him ping 1 damage.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or have, like my favorite would be is if they brought him back and gave him a Force Lightning like ability where you could spend like certain resource, or you could spend health points to do damage.
Spend a resource to remove their ability.
Yeah, something crazy like that. But yeah, I get you. I actually agree. It would be nice to see some of these older leaders change, which would suck though because we have these showcases that we still wouldn't be able to use. But
sure, but
it would be
wouldn't be able to use them outside of Eternal anyways, right? So
I know. Gotta sell all mine now, except for my pelt. I'm not gonna sell my pelt. Or my Thrawn. I'll keep my Thrawn too. All right. Sam's one is he wants FFG to create a hype for all the releases like they did with set 1 and 2. To help with the casual level players as well as competitive. Sam's other want was synergies between sets for individual set mechanics, plot, smuggle, indirect. Essentially, I think what he means is he wants the synergies to extend farther than 1 set. So we don't just have 1 set is this and 1 set is that. Like, let's have other interactions or other things like that for it. And then he wants support for currently bad leaders, which I have no idea how they would do that, other than just create better leaders.
I was going to say, they're just are doing that in general, right? By just printing more cards. He's really, really focused on the Eternal format, which is fine. It's just, it seems like one of these are all geared towards for that.
I mean, if you look at what was it, the original Kylo and Rey, right? Like they had the stipulation, like if you have Kylo in your deck, then you could ignore the aspect for the aspect penalty for that particular card. So like stuff like that could be a good way to like improve like old leaders like Finn, or even go back to like somebody like Admiral Trench that needs a lot of help to be good, stuff like that.
Whoa.
I had to throw in Trench at the last second.
I mean, like Trench isn't good, but like Heart Control Trench can compete, and that's kind of about it that I've really messed around with, and I've tried.
All right. For me, my 3 wants that I really want out of FFG is to increase the power levels of legendaries and rares to make opening packs more worth it. I do like the fact that we get like these commons and uncommons that are actually really good that we use quite a bit more often than some of that. But I would like to see a few more of the legendaries and rares really hit home for it. I would like better graveyard mechanics. There you go. Like, I want a graveyard deck like we thought Dr. Aphra was going to be, but she's not. And I say this because like I played Magic this weekend and like I got to play the Final Fantasy version of it, right? Like my son bought me the starter decks for the Final Fantasy for Sephiroth and Claw, because that's probably my absolute favorite game in the history of the world. Is that outside of Super Mario RPG, that's my favorite game, but the second to that is Final Fantasy VII, and like I love the storylines, I love all of that stuff, and so it was funny because I was like, why the heck would I want to discard all these cards? Like I play this guy and then I have to discard 3 cards from my deck. And then I found out later on you could play it for different resource costs out of your graveyard. And I was like, oh my gosh, why don't we have this in SWU? That's what Dr. Aphra should have been. Like discard, droids and be able to play them for 1 cheaper or something like that. So you're milling yourself, but then you could play units cheaper and crazy.
Or like Mother Talzin, right? With all the Night Sisters, right? Especially if you're bringing soldiers back from the dead and stuff, like that would be a really great mechanic for that,
Yeah. We just don't have real true graveyard mechanics. And then I would like to create control cards, but I want them to be control cards that are suited to my play style of control decks, not this. I'm going to trade a unit for your unit. That's not really control. I don't give a shit what anyone says. That's not true control. And it's funny. Okay, I'll tell you a little side note story. Like I play in Riftbound, the showcase that I pulled was Ari, right? And it's absolutely hilarious because I just decided I was going to play an Ari deck, and it's a blue-green deck. And well, they don't have ramp or some of these other things in the same way we have it in SWU. Ari has this card that costs 6 called Singularity, and then you have to get rid of 2 of your resources, but it does 6 damage to 2 different units, and unless you can dispel that spell, you can't stop this spell. And it's like a super laser blast kind of, or like 2 craving power at the same time. It's a great card. I love it. And it's funny because I play Riftbound with control cards now. And next set they're releasing even more, so I can actually create a complete control deck with no units in it. Just so you know, Alex. So I'm going to tempt you and bring you over to the dark side, baby.
Yeah, that's never going to happen, but it sounds fun.
It might. If this deck actually works, you'll love playing it. You'll be able to go play against Matt locally, and then Matt's going to hate you. That's going to be the best part about this whole thing is you'll be able to go play against Matt because Matt hates control for whatever reason. And you could just take this Riftbound deck and like he won't even know what it is, and then you'll be like, yeah, Tanner showed me this. I think it's a hard control deck. And he'll hate for it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, those are my wants for SWU. I want actual real control decks. I get that you have to balance it a little bit. We can't always have control be dominant, but I don't really think we see control being super dominant. Yeah, but it's gonna all this shit's rotating, Alex. We're losing control.
Oh, I know.
In set
that's
7.
That's why in the previous segment I asked for some reprints of control cards.
Yes, like Power of the Dark Side and Merciless Contest.
Merciless Contest over Power of the Dark Side. Power is kind of dumb.
I disagree. They have those cards in all these other games. They exist in other games.
I get it.
I want hard control for the rest of my life. Actually, if I could just only play hard control in SWU, that's probably what I would do.
Card control's in a rough spot right now with all the unit generation, though.
Yeah, that's very true. Hence why we don't need to, nerf it.
That's why I haven't built a trench deck. I have a frame of a trench deck. It's just kind of it's kind of wonky. I'm working on it.
What sucks is there's a couple of hero cards that if you could have it fill in, you could play that trench deck and it would actually work very well.
Like what?
Well, you have the one that clear the field. That's like it would get rid of all their token units, period. It'd just be done and over with. And that's like a 2-cost card for Christ's sake.
It is. We could play it for 4.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If it was in villain at 2 costs, you could play that and like you can stop some of this, shenanigans with Queen Amidala. But all right, the last thing I wanted to kind of do, and this one's just kind of what is one outrageous thing that you hope for SWU in the future? And this is just like off the wall, insanely crazy, probably never going to happen. And I'm just gonna do Sam's because he did 3 of them for whatever reason.
He was in the mindset of doing 3 for everything.
We will not cover the PPS. We'll get a leader spoiler that will never absolutely ever happen.
That's what we're going for, right?
No. This is not even one thing that you can hope for. That'll never happen. I guarantee it. He wants a broken Glup Shittu. I don't know who that is.
The best Star Wars character.
Oh, yeah, whatever. And he wants a competitive tournament in Grand Rapids, which that's actually feasible. JJ, what's yours?
For me, I want a streamer showdown sponsored by FFG to have various casts versus each other in like a winner takes all.
Just a
And
family
we get-
feud for podcasting.
Hell yeah! And the winner gets to reveal a leader for the next set. That'd be
Oh my
great.
god.
Winner wins world championship.
Yeah, right.
Strip the title away from the winner.
All right, Alex.
I think it'd be really interesting to have a Canadian Highlander format where you point out every single cost, or point out very powerful cards. Like a 1 through 10 or 30 or 50, however they want to do it, and you can only bring X amount of points in your deck. Pretty sure they have that in Magic. That's where I've heard it's from, but that'd be kind of interesting. Where it's like, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker, costs like 20 points out of your 50, so you can't bring 3 of them, but you could bring 2 of them. Just kind of make it a little bit interesting there. That might happen. That's probably the most realistic out of all these, but
Yep.
I don't know.
That would be cool.
More deck building shenanigans is what I'm about.
Yeah. The last one is Darth Bane and Darth Xana. I want a Twin Sons deck of them. There you go. I wanted Darth Bane. That was Darth Bane's apprentice, Darth Xana.
I don't know who Darth Bane is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Alex is banned from the show for the rest of the night. There's 3 books you can read, Alex. I highly suggest you go read. Yes, you can. Those 3 books.
I'm telling you, man, we need like a separate channel for Alex.
Oh, I play SWU. You think I can read?
You're not an NCX captain, man. Come on.
All right. Well, let's move on. The next thing that I want to talk about is let's talk a little bit about PQs. We could talk a little bit about week 3/4. The only one I don't have in here is there was a PQ in Minnesota that Han Blue took down. Not force, just 30 health. Which I think is pretty good. I'm actually kind of happy that happened. It took Akira down. I'm actually interested how Han Blue does into Yoda, but we'll talk a little bit about that.
I'm actually surprised that Kira lost. That was a pretty crazy Kira deck. I was actually watching this at work.
Oh, did they have a stream for it?
Yeah, we just put a screen. There's no like commentary or anything, so it was perfect. It was just like having this game. We were watching, the customers were watching and everything. It was pretty cool.
I didn't know that. I'll have to go back and look at that. Yeah, because Kira though traditionally does have a harder time into Han Blue, and that's kind of why like when we went to Worlds last year, that's why like me and Eric chose the Han Blue was because we thought Kira was going to run rampant, and we didn't want to play Kira, so I should have just played Kira anyway, but I didn't.
Should play Trench.
Well, somebody did play Trench. I did not. So as you can kind of see here, there was a lot less PQs than the week before, but Han 2 ECL taking down 3 PQs. 2 of them are pretty low in PQs, but still. There was a limited 10-person PQ in Singapore. That would be fun.
To have gone to that.
Yeah. Well, we need to figure out how to get more like mileage points, Alex. I guess it's probably like
my buddy's from Singapore. I can see if I can shack up with his.
The next time you buy decks for the next set, just put it on like an airline credit card miles. The amount of packs you guys purchase, I swear, you guys are gonna get round trip flights like 6 times in a year.
We should do that, Alex.
Heavily discounted prices. What am I supposed to do?
We should do that anyway. We should just put them on an airline miles card, a PPS airline miles credit card. There you go.
We can get a custom Han Solo credit card, like another cast member on this podcast.
We won't talk about that. It's hard not to
on this podcast today.
It's hard to be. It's hard to be 42, I guess, on this podcast because when I saw that, I immediately thought of my son, and then I immediately felt like lecturing, but then I did not. So, we also had an Anakin Data Vault take one down. Boba Data Vault, okay, that's kind of crazy. The Boba Data Vault again makes me want to resurrect my Boba Data Vault, play it again. And then 3 Yoda Data Vaults. So there you go. So Data Vault, ECL. So green all over the place. So if you look at the distribution, command, so since they decided to ban Force Throw, command is 50% of the meta, which is just crazy. I mean, some of that will change when ECL disappears, right? Like, I don't think you replace ECL decks with Data Vault decks.
No,
That's not how that works. So, I think with the rotation of ECL and Tarkentown, like, I do think that there's going to be a pretty big meta shakeup. I don't even think we have to like look at like the next set to be a meta shakeup. I think that style of rotation will be pretty big for the meta.
Yeah,
but
I'm just trying to think of a deck that I have on me that's not green. It's like Han 4 red, Thrawn red, and like mono yellow Slime War. Everything else is just green in some way. Oh no, I got Jeddah City Grand Inquisitor. But yeah, it is. That's if the majority of my decks are green, that should probably tell you something. how much green's in the meta right now.
yeah, and so if you kind of look through the meta distribution, right? Obviously, command is still very high. The archetypes, obviously, Yoda Data Vault, making lots of top 8s and wins, followed by Anakin, then followed by Han Solo. And I think that's kind of the conversation piece, right? Like, does Han Solo automatically just lose to Yoda, and people just want to continue to play Han because it's good against lots of other things? We don't have a resident Han 1 player here, but you know,
I got top 4 with Han.
Nah, but not Han 1 green. You got it was blue.
I played a lot of that.
I'm just saying.
Han 1 green. Sorry, I went with control.
So I don't know. So again, we'll talk about Yoda in a few minutes. Like, we will come back to this Yoda discussion in a few minutes. But outside of that, like, are you shocked that we don't have more? I mean, we have 2 Chancellor Palpatines making tops, like, and 1 making top 2, like, pushing some of the Kira stuff out. Like, I think that's kind of interesting. The sad thing with some of those Palp decks is like they're losing some of their cards next set.
And Palpatine himself.
So there's that. Well, no, not the Chancellor Palpatine. That's the set 6 one.
Sure.
But also Piet being kind of the massive, Piet's coming back a little bit more in force, with the ability to do, like, basically kind of be a pseudo aggro deck and ramp harder into some of those bigger spaceships. And like, they don't care quite as much about rotation as you would think they would.
I could almost assure you Piet's endgame is better than Yoda's endgame.
Yes.
Yeah, by far. Yeah.
Is there anything else, like any other like observations for the meta that you guys have, like things that you're like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy to see?
I'm just gonna be sad for JTL Vader yellow to go down, because like the heart of that particular deck is a lot of the set 2 cards, and I feel like its power level is gonna go down, so we're probably not gonna see too much of that in the following. I mean, granted, assuming that there's not going to be like a really good influx of like space cards in yellow coming in for the next set. We just don't know that, but as is right now, JTL Vader yellow is going to go down quite a bit with the loss of the set 2 cards.
Oh no, you got to switch over to red and play Planetary Bombardments and Devastators.
Well, you lose your ramp too, though. That's the other big thing that we're kind of missing, is that some of these, I don't know how much time we want to spend talking about that, because I do genuinely actually think like missing some of that ramp is a problem for some of these mid-range style decks that play that stuff.
But if like everyone's missing ramp, right? It's not. I mean, I guess you have like 8th Koth, but outside of like green Hero Force stuff,
sure. But like your decks that don't care about ramp, right? they just want to be able to, that are playing lower cost units and going like, okay, Sabay is a great one. I think Sabay is going to be extremely well positioned, as well as Padme is going to be very well positioned, because they're going to be able to put out stuff, and like more than one color is going to be viable, because they're going to be able to put out some of these lower units and aggro decks. The way to get around aggro decks with some of these mid-range decks is to be able to ramp and play better units in them. And you're going to lose that if you lose all your ramp. So we're going to have 1 ramp card, right? 2 ramp cards. Sorry, because you're right. You'll have ETH Koth.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of mid-range decks having ramp in general.
Okay, but it is a thing. And so I think that's like That's a whole different discussion, though. Like we don't need to have that conversation tonight. This is supposed to be a happy episode, not I don't want to talk about rotation too much.
Not having ramp makes me happy. I don't know what you're talking about.
I hate it. I want my ramp. I love my. What are you? Do you control player? You're gonna
I
be
don't
an
play
aggro
ramp
player.
typically in my control decks.
Oh, malarkey.
Where is it in trench? Where is I don't have resupply in Iden.
Okay, well then you're the only one.
I don't want to waste my turn ramping when I want to kill all their stuff, especially right now with all the unit generation.
Yep, that's true.
But I think it's interesting seeing the Han Solos. Like, I think it's good. I don't think that I'm in agreement that Yoda is like completely just taken over this game, with the data vault type stuff. But some people are saying we should bring Boba back or let Jango come back, and I was like, I don't think we do that. I don't think that's how you fix those things. But like, I still think we're seeing a decent variety, of people winning it. It's a little bit more skewed towards the Han and Yoda last week, but I think that's just kind of a temporary problem. Like, people don't tech against Yoda. Can we tech against Yoda? And again, we'll have that conversation here in the next half hour. But anything else on the meta? Or I did pull a couple of cool lists I thought we could go over. Alex will get first crack at it because it's hilarious, this list. I can't get it to work, but maybe you can.
The Palp Tarkentown.
There is a Palp 1 Tarkentown that made top 3 in the Toronto PQ.
Ooh, it's been a bit since I played Palp Tarkentown.
I have not played this in forever, and it is not crispy. But
It's true.
Alex, what is this deck? And let's talk about it, because it's like not that much different than we've seen.
I understand things, but it's kind of weird, and I'm not on the. But needs great dragons. Yeah. So Palp Tarkentown. You started off triple Porgs, triple Dengar, which is kind of the key to most of the deck. Triple Salacious Chrome, double Daring Raid, triple Bounty Hunter's Quarry, triple Poggle the Lesser, double Price on Your Head. That's the ramp bounty card. Triple Chancellor Palpatine, the new one. Triple Emperor's Royal Guards, double Phase 3 Troopers, triple Super Laser Attack, triple Open Fire, triple Resupply, double OB, double Cinta, double Resupply Carrier, double Ruthless Raider, triple the Green Ambush Vader, double Red Devastator, and double Green Devastator. In the side, you have triple of the Outlaw Constables, double Punishing One, which I get it. One OB, double 2 sides, and probably the reason why Tanner had me do this one, double Confidence in Victory.
Yep. I don't know why that's to the side. Why?
Your top end is pretty space heavy, honestly. If you can just blow up all their space stuff because you have 2 Devastators on the board, that's probably somewhat feasible. Or maybe they're playing it because it has Palpatine on the card. That's my guess.
It has Palpatine on the card. All right, I'll give you that one. I don't know how you get that. I mean, it would be fun.
2 hyperfoils.
It would be fun to get it to work. I have 2 hyperfoils of that, but I don't play that card.
I think I have 1 hyperfoil and a couple hyperspace.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a neat deck. I like the Cintas in there because you could just resource that, right? And when Palp flips, you can use it. You can also
I'm just not exactly sure what it does in this instance, honestly.
Well,
just allows Palp to attack as soon as he deploys.
The question I have is, can you order of operation? Can you flip Palp? You plot out Cinta, attack with, let's just say, Vader, right, into something, and then use Palp's ability to steal something and put it on your side of the board.
Yes. I would assume so, right? Because they're both when deployed.
Well, one's when played versus when deployed.
Well, I mean, you're plotting it out, so you're deploying your leader, so it happens in that window.
Okay.
It's
so
like,
it's
because
like with
right? Same thing.
Yeah, like with JTL Vader, for instance, because I use Cinta Kaz a lot with that particular deck. So, like if I'm putting Vader as a pilot onto the clone escort, that gets 1/1 for each unit, I can choose to use Vader's ability to create 2 TIE fighter tokens, which increases the power of that particular unit, then trigger Cinta Kaz, and then attack with Vader with that, now that he's bucked up with the additional units on the board there. So yeah, you can choose in that order of operations because it's all within the same time frame.
I guess that would probably be an okay use of it. Like, you don't want to do like a ton of damage. I mean, I guess you could deploy Palpatine still their unit and immediately attack with their unit, which is kind of funny.
Yep.
If you wanted to. I don't know. I like this style deck because I did play Pal Dark Town. It is wildly fun. It's kind of crazy to me they only have 2 daring raids instead of 3, because usually you do want to have that much damage there. You know what you can't do is play Palpatine and Cinta on the same turn at 8 resources either. That's a little bit rough.
Yep. You have to wait till 9. Unless you ramped.
Sure. I mean, like, if you know how to play this deck, it can do really well. It's got a lot of ramp, and like the payoffs for the ramp is pretty nice. I do love me some Palpatine. I don't know. That 2 resupply carriers seems fine to me. I think I cut those out of my Palp Darkened Down deck for like reinforcement walkers, because man, those reinforcement walkers do some work.
Yeah.
Also a little bit strange not seeing like Maul in the somewhere in the 60 cards.
Yeah, I'm not
or
really
like space at all.
Yeah, I'd say there's no space like stoppage. Like, where's my Black Sun, enforcer ever? And maybe it's just because people aren't running space heavy as they had been. But
I mean,
I don't.
It's weird to me that punishing ones are on the sideboard, not like eager escort fighters.
Yeah, that too. And I think it's only because they use it like for the trigger with Dengar. But like, really, I don't think you need that. Like, I guess it does work nice because you can play that.
I mean, there's a fair bit of upgraded units out, right? Because like you do have things that provide a lot of experience, or like General's Blades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like it's more than just, well, they have a bounty.
Yeah, it could be any of that.
It just doesn't. This seems a little bit weirder to me.
Yeah. I also don't think you need the 3 resupply carriers, right? Like, or the 2 resupply. I just don't think you don't need like. He's got 10 ramp in this deck. That's just that's crazy to me.
Always be ramping. I wonder how many times he got the confidence and victory off.
I don't know.
Where is Sam when the one deck that we ever found has like confidence and victory somewhere in there, and it's the one podcast he can't be on?
Yeah, it's the Palpatine deck. So I don't know. I like the deck. I played it a little bit, and I didn't have the success, obviously, that this guy had. But speaking of Palpatine, we have another Palpatine deck because I thought it would be fun to cover this Palpatine deck because this is a little different than the Palpatine deck I have been playing, but I do genuinely like this deck. It also dies with rotation completely, but this is if we play plot cards instead of playing Iden Heal. Like, that's what this deck feels like. I don't think it needs only 1 Annihilator. I think it needs 2 Annihilators, because when I was playing this deck, you know how many damn times I had a resource or an Annihilator early on, and then I didn't have another one, and I was sad? Or give me a tech, I guess. No,
I agree. You should have 2 Annihilators. This is actually like very, very close to one of my locals' decks. It's almost exactly the same, except for like he has massive meetup because he also likes generating some spy tokens with the Chancellor Palpatines, and because you can plot them both out at the same time.
Yeah. So this deck is Palp 6 Data Vault. It's got 1 restock, 3 timely interventions, 2 entrenched, 3 Chancellor Palpatine units. The 3 cost ones, 2 super laser techs, 2 merciless contests, 3 power of the dark sides, 3 resupply, 3 condemns, 3 slime wars, 2 fell the dragons, 2 takedowns, 3 vigilance, 3 Cad Banes, 3 of the no glories, 2 OBs, overwhelming barrages, only 2 Vader, blue Vaders.
Don't have a way of ambushing them outside of timely intervention.
Yeah, 3 of the shock. I don't know, the squads, whatever the plot.
The dogmatic
Sentinels.
shock squad.
There you go. 2 rivals falls, 3 of the reinforcement walkers, 2 So Supreme Leader Snoke's 3 OBs, 2 Super Laser
Super
Blasts,
lasers.
2 Avengers, 2 Devastators, and 1 Annihilator. The sideboard is wild.
Just
The
wild sideboard.
the sideboard
I love it.
is 2
Yep.
Eye of Aldanis, 1 Bazine, 1 Galen Urso, 2 Chilsons, 2 Pulse Reacher, and 2 of the Hyperspace Disasters. Now, I will tell you, I do not think you need the 3 resupplies. I actually would cut the 3 resupplies and play 3 Super Laser Techs, personally, and then I would have those extra 2 cards, 1 for an Annihilator, which, like, I would put Annihilator and a Tech in there to begin with. That's the first changes I would make.
I'd also run 3 Merciless Contests as well. Probably got a
I would
Slime
too.
or Dogmatic Shock Squad for that.
Yes. What I have found with this deck when I've been playing it, I've not played sideboard, so that's whatever. But what I found is you actually draw quite a few plot cards with this, but I don't need them half the time. Like that's the actual bigger issue with this deck. And I do wonder if you could run a 30 health base and if it would just feel a little bit better because you could cut a few of the things. Like, I don't need 3 Slimores. I probably only need 2, in fairness. I don't need 5 or 3 Cad Banes. I probably only need 2. The Dogmatic Shock Squads, nope, I love those. Those can stand. I love those. And maybe it's just because I'm a control player and the way I play this is I'm not playing this as a soft control deck per se. I'm actually playing this as a hard control, as in I'm not going to flip Palpatine until I blast their board. So if their board's not almost clean, I don't flip Palpatine, period. I just don't. I just clean the board up, and then after that, I will then do it. And I mill is more of a win condition sometimes than some of the other stuff. But again, I also play hard control normally. I love the 2 Rivals Falls. I actually like the Rivals Falls. Like, I would almost cut the one of the Fells for another Rivals Fall. Like, I just like it that much more in this deck. Like, the Fell's great if you get it at the end of the game, but if you get it at the beginning, you just feel bad because you just resource.
I mean, sometimes I want to fell the dragon and then power the dark side the other guy, right?
I guess. But other than that, I don't think it needs as much ramp as it has personally, because I found that I actually don't care about ramping. Like, turn 1, I'm always plotting. I almost always just plot turn 1.
Said you don't care about ramping in a hard control deck?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, because I use all the other stuff. Like, Slimore is actually probably one of the best cards they've ever fucking printed. I wish she was not unique. Just being able to slide. You know how many times you just, like, they could have, like, I played against a Yoda, ironically enough, with this. I don't know how this lost to Yoda. I genuinely do not understand how that guy lost to Yoda. It is Wu that he lost to, so I'll give Wu props because he's Wu's a really good player. But, well, they went to time, Alex. And we'll talk about this in the next segment, but
I vaguely remember this. One of my buddies was explaining to me.
They pulled out. I played against somebody and they played the Queen Amidala. I just waited. Next turn, I just dumped the Slimore. Next turn, I flipped, I flipped Pelp, dropped another Slimore, just killed the other one. I don't care. You weren't doing any damage. You killed my 2 units, but you just have all these units. You can't do anything. And then I just Super Laser Blasted the board. And then, I lost my leader, but they did no damage for 2 turns, and they lost their whole board. So
I understand. I've played against this deck and played a slightly different version of this myself, and I also agree. I don't do the resupplies. I do the Super Laser Techs, but I don't do the resupplies.
Yeah, and the Super Laser Techs are good just for the pure fact that it's a unit on the board that you can run into, right?
Right.
Or if you Merciless Contest in it.
There.
Yeah, that's the only reason I like it. Like, I'll be honest, like the Chancellor Palpatine, I love that card, but like outside of if you don't need it to stop anything, I'll just play a Dogmatic Shock Squad.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I kind of do understand the amount of ramp that this has, mainly for the fact is that you're playing with a 60 card deck, So the odds of you bringing out your cards that are going to help you out ramp is a little bit less because you have 10 more cards added into the deck. So just having that little extra bit of ramp on here does help a little bit, just so you can get to your higher cards a little bit faster. But on the flip side, if you don't have it and you're not pulling what you need early on, and your opponent can out damage you, you're kind of behind the 8 ball to get to the higher resource count, so that we can help control the side of your board. And at that point, it might be a little too late if your opponent is playing something super aggressive. So so it's kind of tough, right? If you don't end up pulling any of your ramp cards during your turn, it could be really detrimental for you if you're not able to get your higher arm cards to do enough damage out there.
I actually find it worse, not having a timely intervention in 8 resources worse than a ramp card. I actually found, which is all the other reason why I would actually consider Mauls in this deck over, maybe even over the Vaders. Like, I hate saying that because the Vader is just a good oh shit card, but man, having Maul, just so good.
Yeah.
And by the time I usually hit enough resources, I like timely and a reinforcement wear out. That heals me for 6 and kills something every time.
Classic play.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. I'll be honest, like, if they bring some other like good support for this type of play, I will play this deck next set. I actually like the plot mechanic with Palpatine quite a bit. I'm actually thinking about tearing my Jabba deck apart just to play this, just because it's probably a little bit more up my alley than the Jabba deck is. So now, in the same PQ in New Jersey, we had an Obi Mystic Monastery, an Obi 5. JJ, JJ cover this deck, and we got to talk about this because this deck is like, I don't understand how this deck mechanically works well enough to win. But it did come in 6th place in New Jersey, and so like I'll give it props. Like, it could churn one. It 100% can churn one, boost whatever it plays. You can have a 4/4 on churn 1.
Yeah.
Battlefield Marine, which is pretty good.
You could have a 3/6 Gunji.
You could have that too. Yeah. I'm just
Which
going
is
to
Yeah, I was
play
gonna say,
Avalon.
or
just
Merciless
in the
Contest,
sheer amount
but-
of playing that I've done, I've seen more Gunji first play than Battlefield Marines for Obi. But yeah, let's go through this here. So we got Obi-Wan with Mystic Monastery. We got 3 copies of the Clone Deserter. We got 3 Bounty Hunter's Quarries, 2 Battlefield Marines, 3 Gunjis, 3 Minibonteris, 3 copies of the Seasoned Fleet Admiral, rather. We got 3 copies of Blue Leader, 2 copies of Hu Yang, 3 Obi-Wan Kenobis, 3
Opus.
Aporoncesis.
Yeah, I could not read that name. 3 copies of Sundari Peacekeepers, 3 copies of Charged with Corruption. I got 3 copies of the General's Blade, 3 Catherine Typhos, 2 copies of Enterprising Lackeys, 3 Commands, 2 Queen Amidala's, and 3 copies of Unity of Purpose to round off the list. And then in the sideboard, we got 3 Confiscates, 2 R2D2s, 3 Village Traders, and 2 copies of the Eagle Ear Escort Pilots on there. So yeah, definitely. I mean, the times I've seen this particular deck play, the first play tends to be Gungi. That is your best case scenario, mainly because when Gungi swings in the following turn, you do have a force unit available there, which usually turn 2 is when they deploy a General's Blade on there, and then that gets buffed up further with Obi-Wan. And if your opponent doesn't have a way to eliminate Gungi right off the bat, it becomes a lot harder for you to catch up because he starts getting hit out of the damage race. I mean, having 5 health on Gungi helps him survive open fire. And then even better once you start adding in the additional health from General's Blade. So it's a great unit up front for this particular deck to really go in there. And you have just enough restore on here to keep your health up since you have a 25 health base. And then Hu Yang on top of that, if you play that turn 2 to help buff Gungi, also another great bonus on there. So yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get this deck. I'll say it. It's fine. I mean, like, I get what they're doing. Yeah, the Mystic Monastery. It's so weird. I understand having like a 3/6 is pretty cool on the first turn, and then like following it up to make it like a 6/9 with the General's Blade. It's fine. It's good. I don't know.
It's about creating like a super unit, right? And it's creating it super early. The main problem with the deck though is that if you happen to remove that unit early, then the deck starts losing steam really fast, and it takes a while for it to start recovering from that loss. So that's
that would be
kind of
my
the
assumption.
issue
That's
with
why I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the charge with corruption really in there for?
It can capture across arenas.
Okay, so they're just using it as a capture card then on 4
Yeah,
or on
I mean,
3.
like that's the reason that they wouldn't run like take captive, because that's the same arena charge with corruption. Is you can do it across arenas.
Okay, which I guess makes sense because if you're first player, you can Gungi, claim, capture their unit so they can't sanction or shuttle or anything. I don't know. Like to me, like this deck loses to yellow, just like hard. Like the yellow feels like a hard counter to this deck. Like
just waylay it.
Yeah, I'm gonna waylay. I'm gonna sanctioner shuttle. You know, I'm gonna cunning you. Like I don't see how this beats Vader at all. Like, and I don't think you only have 2 Eager Esker pilots in there. Like I think you have 3, and I think you main deck those and dump your Hu Yangs.
Well, Hu Yangs can also put General's Blades on.
Sure, but I think General's Blades in this deck is silly too, because if you have something that can just remove that unit,
well, you could put it on Dobby himself as well. That's hard to out.
I guess. I don't know. I don't understand. I'll be honest. This is not up my alley. This is like, I understand this is a Unity of Purpose deck and that's what they're going for, but it's very weird to me compared to like the Rex or the Mon Mothma style. Like that at least makes a little bit more sense to me. This does not. But he got 6, so I don't mean it obviously does something. I don't know, Alex. You're gonna have to play this somehow and figure it out, so that because I bet you somebody in Michigan is gonna try to play this. Is what's gonna happen.
I did have a couple inquiries from some of my friends.
There you go. Well, tell them not to watch this show because we don't know how to play that game. The next one is a Padme Yellow. Alex, tell us about this Padme Yellow.
Yeah, so it is not the Padme you're expecting. It is Twilight Padme. Just for a reminder for the everyone, 99.99% of everyone who has never played this leader, she is Coordinate. As an action, spend a resource. Search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Republic card, reveal it, and draw it. Yep. So anyways, Padme Yellow 30. It's got triple Bounty Hunter's Quarry, double Hotshot Blaster, triple Bale, double the Favorable Delicate. That's the draw card guy. He is Republic, so it works. Triple Mina, who is not a Republic. A single copy of Twilight Padme. That's the 1/4 Coordinate on attack. Give an enemy unit -3 for this phase. 1 off just to say you had in the deck because you're playing Padme.
Yeah.
Double yellow R2D2. Triple the Republic Tactical Officer. That's the one that's kind of like the fleet lieutenant.
He's a fleet, yep, for Republic only.
Republic, yep. Double Bamboozle. A single Spark of Rebellion. Double of the green heroic Admiral Yularen. Triple yellow Anakin. Triple Obi-Wan. Triple Sanctioner Shuttle, which is a Republic. Triple Spare the Target. Double Figure of Unity. Triple Typho. Double Plo Koon. Triple Queen Amidala. Double Dappa. Double Caloran. 1 Choose Sides. And 1 U-Wing Reinforcement. In the side, you have the 2nd and 3rd copy of Yellow Padme.
We don't know why, but you do.
You're playing Padme deck.
Nope.
A second Spark of Rebellion, the third Dappa double of the Renowned Dignitaries, which I'm a little bit surprised they don't main deck. Second two sides, a third Caloran, and the other two copies of Ewing Reinforcement.
Yeah. I like the deck
Help.
overall. Like I played this a little bit. I did play it a little bit. I don't have the success they had with it. They went 5-2 with it, so like that's pretty admirable, I think, or maybe it's 4-2. I don't remember, but they only had 2 losses on the day. Basically, it allows you to draw. You're basically drawing cards, right? You know,
You're just deep drawing cards, which is cool, I guess. But
yeah, and like sometimes people ignore your units because it's like, do they care about it? Like, and if they do attack your unit, what I found is if they did attack my units, I did not care because
you just get them back.
Get it.
Like I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either 100%. Like I like you have like Obi and then you have the Typho, so you can kind of slow them down. You have Queens. Bale is actually pretty useful in this deck because you play him, then you can also, you know, play a unit the next turn, and then, you know, you're able to, if you have a, like, I think you need, like...
He enables the coordinate really well.
Yeah. I don't like the 2 cost R2-D2, personally. I actually don't like that more than the Padme, and I understand why it's in there, but I don't like it, because, like, I feel like you could just have a couple of 1-drops, which would be a little bit better, like original R2-D2 would be really good in there. I know he's not Republic, he's Rebel, but, I don't know. The deck works okay. Like,
your only space units are the Sanctioner shuttle.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on?
It's people aren't afraid of space anymore, like they used to be.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't get that.
Because Han's being killed in the meta right now, like crazily, and that's why I think people are not worried about it. But
the Palpatine plot card, is that green neutral?
No,
Green villainy.
Damn.
Yeah, you don't play that in this deck.
No,
I know
will
it's
do it
thematic.
Yeah, no, it's not even for the theme. It's just to have the coordinate faster for Padme. But yeah, it's villainy. So yeah.
And he only creates the tokens when when Padme's out. So if Padme's not out, if your leader isn't out, he doesn't do anything. He just does he's a 2/2 for fucking 3. So he's not. I was very high on him. I still think he's a very great unit card, but like he's not needed in half the decks. He's better in sealed than he is actually in Premier.
Constructed.
Yeah. So I don't know, like I don't hate this deck. Some of the choices are wild to me. Like, I don't know why we have a one-off Spark. Like, whatever, just throw it in the garbage. Or run 2 or 3 of them. And like, why do we have spare the targets instead of waylays? And I don't know. But I did play it a little bit. Did have okay success with it. I was at probably a 30 to 40% win rate with it. But that's because a lot of people don't know how to play against the deck. Because what do? Like, do you kill Bale? Is that what you do? And then you do no damage to base, and then my end game.
I assure you, my
better?
end game is better than bad base end game.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I will say the Anakin unit is super fun to play. So.
Oh yeah, this is incredible when you're just like, yeah, I'm a 3/5 hidden that swings for 5 just because I am for 3.
Yeah. I know the guy working on this deck has spent a lot of time on this though. So
it looks like it. It seems very particularly tuned for what he was going for.
Yeah. And I think it's going for destroying certain types of metas, and like based on the current Anakin 3 meta, Data Vault meta, right? Like I think it's attuned to that. I don't know how well this does into Yoda. I never ran into a Yoda with this deck, so but I thought it was neat. I think it's neat to see, you know, a tier D leader
That's
top
generous.
12. So yeah. All right, the last deck that I have is an ECL Obi-Wan 3 deck.
Now, where's Justin when you need him?
Yep, I know. I was thinking the same thing, and like this is so like it's funny because this this deck is not the other weird ECL OB deck that we had seen. Like Sam was playing this weird ECL like OB
Yeah,
deck
I
that had a
didn't
bunch of
understand that one at all.
villain
That made
cards
no
in
sense.
it. This does not have that in there. So like this is what I would consider like a true like OB ECL type deck.
The classic blue-green hero ECL.
Yes. JJ, I think you're up.
Yeah, so we got 2 copies of Owen Lars, 1 Diplomatic Envoy, 3 Gungis, 2 Jar Jar Binks, 3 Mini Bontaries, 3 copies of Yaddle, 2 Entrenched, 3 Blue Leaders, 3 Obi-Wan Kenobis, 3 Sabine Masterpieces, 2 Yodas, 2 General's Blades, 3 copies of Captain Typho, 2 Galen Ursos, 3 Felder Dragons, 3 copies of Queen Amidala, 2 Anakin Skywalkers, 2 copies of Captain Rex, 3 Luke Skywalkers from set 1, 1 Choose Sides, and 2 Ewing Reinforcements. And then on the sideboard, we have 2 copies of the Concord Dawn Interceptors, 3 of the JTL Chewbacca Pilots, 1 Timely Reinforcements, 2 Traitorses, 1 Choose Sides, and 2 copies of Hyperspace Disaster. So this definitely an interesting deck. It feels like Obi-Wan's ability in this particular deck is kind of like if it happens to work, then it you just use it. Other than that, you're just playing really strong cards to constantly deal damage to your opponent's deck. Control with a little bit of control, this feels more of a mid-range style deck, as you can put Entrench on space units to prevent them from going into base, and then you're just following the dragon on stuff that has a lot of power, which actually, funny enough, does work with Entrench. You just put on a unit that's problematic and then follow the dragon later on.
I've done that. I've done that in Trench. It's so fun.
Yeah. It's so great. But yeah, you're basically building up to get some of your bigger cards between Queen Amidala, Anakin, and Luke to come in and finish off the game there for you, and you're restoring your base constantly with your various early units, lower cost units to help you just keep your health up while you're building up to get your bigger units out there. ECL definitely really works really well with some of these higher costed units there. Queen Amidala would be actually really great.
You can ambush out Captain Rex with ECL.
Yeah.
You know how dumb that
actually,
is?
that's good.
And then you can heal him really after that?
Yeah, exactly. And then you can choose sides and take like one of their bigger units and give them like one of your spies. Which is silly. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. I think it needs at least 1 Rival's Fall in this deck. So maybe
you probably
2.
cut one of the Fells and probably the Jew sides, honestly, for like 2 rivals.
Yeah, that's maybe it's just because we play more control, I guess. But like, I just feel like in this deck, that Rival's Fall can go a long way with flipping Obi. They spend a few resources, you kill something, and then have the ability to
just do whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the deck. Like like Justin and I developed like the yellow Obi-Wan, which was just really, really good for that meta, right? So we didn't really want to do the green, but like this is a solid green. Like green is, very good. I love Galen Urso. He's not good in many decks, but man, it is fun when you just be like, oh, I'm playing against like ECL Han. I'm just gonna call ECL. Now they can never use it and get their tempo back.
Yep.
After I blew that out. It's a very underrated card. He does stick around a little bit longer with Obi-Wan's ability. Like that's kind of what's nice about this. Is just like pretty much everyone has like 4+ health, so they'll eat a hit and then you can heal them and then continue going.
Yep. And that's the fun thing about, in my opinion, that's the fun thing about this deck. Like, I think Obi, like when I went to Richmond back in April last year, or I guess it's this year, April, like there was Obi decks there. And if like if they had some of these cards that we have now, that deck would have done a lot better. Like Anakin, just being able to ECL out that Anakin is just so dirty sometimes. Like, yeah, Captain Rex is good. I was going to tell you, it was like, because you can ECL that out if they have a queen on the other side. You can just ECL it out into like one of the stupid, spy tokens. Or if you really want to, you can ECL it out, let them kill their spy, take the 5 damage back, and then heal that 1 damage again. I wonder if you put Grogu in this deck, if like maybe Grogu's a little too slow, but like it feels like Grogu would be super fun in this deck. Because then you could just use it to like you can heal with Obi and then move 2 damage with Grogu, and it's like ha ha ha, have some middle fingers, guys. Like, could you imagine having a Grogu and a Typho on the board at the same time? Like, oh, you just attacked into Typho. Let me remove a couple of that damage with Grogu, and oh, hey, by the way, next turn I'm going to heal again. So if you can't do, 4 damage to him, sucks to be you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like this deck actually, though. Like I would heavily play this deck over the Yoda deck. I think this looks more fun than the deck. So
You should play my Bale Blue deck. I'll give you something real fun and interesting.
all right, I will. I'll play Bale Blue. I think I have a Bale Showcase. I can't remember if I bought one or not. I think I might have bought or traded for one. Well, that's all of the fun decks that we had that came out of the PQs. I think the big thing that came out of this set's PQs, right, or this week's, is Yoda Data Vault is on the rise. And I want to talk a little bit about, do we have a Yoda problem? And I understand that we only have 3 months left. I get that. But when we talk a little bit, we talked about this with Django, and they banned Django because Django was just so much of the meta. I think Django was like, 47 to 50% of the meta.
I thought it was even higher, honestly.
It might have been. It was something crazy like that, and it had a conversion rate of over 30%. And I know that they were eating each other at that one, regional, but still, Yoda is going to be on the rise because of the fact that, it has won so much. You can see the actual rise. So what I thought we'd do is let's look at the statistics. Let's look at what wins and loses against it. And then let's kind of talk a little bit about, do we actually think Yoda's tier S, I guess I would say, and or should we just be teching against Yoda a little bit heavier than we have been? All right. So, as you can see, Yoda is not the top one in terms of decks being played, but it is the second highest deck being played, and it is just slightly ahead of Han Solo being played. Now, for some reason, there's an unknown status. I have no idea what those
limited
mean.
PQ stuff.
Okay. I didn't know how to get that out of there. So it's there. Unfortunately. But Yoda is hitting a 58% win ratio, right? Like that's pretty high. That's a high that's a high percent of win ratio. We can also look a little bit about it. The next one is when we look at tops, it is, in fairness, it is tied with Han Solo for tops. So it has not exceeded the Han Solo.
Mind you, Han won.
Yeah, Han won, sorry.
Which is only like 11 more decks played than Han 2.
Really, we have too many Hans. We have more of a Han problem than we do a Yoda problem. But needless to say, you could see the higher hero representation, right? And I think that makes some people nervous. When you have a lot of hero being represented comparatively, even if you look at, decks overall, right? Hero takes up the first 5 slots of that. Then you have 2 villains, and then you're back to hero again. So it can be, I would say, a little concerning based on these numbers. So the next thing I did is I took performance rates, right? I didn't do this. The site did this, but I took screenshots of performance rates of Yoda over a 3-week time period, right? And I thought that's a good snapshot because you can kind of see where the curve goes. What I don't consider for December 1 is when I would say that was introduced, right? That's the first time we saw that deck of any sorts being introduced into PQ world. So I kind of skipped over that first week. But on December 8th, you could see it has a win share of 58%, a conversion rate of 33%, but less than 2% of the meta share. The next week, the meta share rises, which that's natural, right? We're now seeing it at 10%. The conversion rate drops to 23%, and our win rate is down to 51%. So we lost 7 points of win rate we're losing 10 points of conversion rate, and our meta share is only up 8 points. So I would say that's probably fair and balanced to some extent, right? You know, that makes sense. We see more. It wins. People go, oh, I should play this. Don't know how to play it, and then decide they're going to play it. But now we're hitting week 3. Our meta share went down, our conversion rate went up, and our win percentage went up. Now we went from, it's even higher than the first week that it was played at 58%. So we're seeing the conversion rate go to 28%, and the meta share going down a whole point, a whole 1%. It goes down, right? That win rate hitting that 60%, that can become a little bit more troubling. That's when we go, okay, so we're seeing the meta share decrease a little bit because not everybody who wanted to play it won with it. But then all of a sudden, we're still seeing a high meta share, and we're seeing a higher conversion rate, and we're seeing a higher win rate. So, what do you guys think about that? Alex, we'll start with you. Okay,
I mean,
JJ, we'll start with you.
No, I can talk.
Okay.
It's just like I'd be kind of curious to see what Yoda's win rate is without Wu playing it for 3 straight PQs and not really losing around. I don't think it's like that crazy impressive of a like giant boogeyman deck. This is pretty good into the meta, but it does tend to lose to faster aggro decks and like blue-green villainy or anything with just like a pretty substantial endgame. Because there's an output like an insane amount of damage, but like, you know, it can control enough and can kind of grind you down. But if you have like a really fast kind of aggro deck, or I mean, like a lot of people are saying like Han2 ECL is what's, you know, really good into this deck. So it's going to be back to the cyclical kind of, oh, well, like soft control / mid-range is happening a lot. So aggro is going to increase to kind of counter that. Or if there's too much soft control, then like the harder controls decks are going to come there and feast on that. I don't know. It's a great deck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not terribly like, oh, this is like super impressive. Maybe it's just because of the decks that we play, right? Where we have substantially better endgame than this Yoda deck. That it's, you know, skewing my opinion on it, but like it's good. I'm very curious to how not Wu stats are.
Yeah, and I think that's that's fair a little bit, right? Like that is fair because he did take it to 3 PQs, went almost undefeated in every one of the PQs.
Well, he didn't drop a round, right?
In most of at least the last 2, he didn't. No, in the first one I think he did, but in the last 2 I don't think he did. We have those stats we can look at. We can actually look at those stats in a minute. JJ, what were you gonna say?
Well, I mean, the other thing to consider, right, is the what makes the deck really good, right? There's a lot of good restore cards that have come out in the last 2 sets that have really increased the power of this particular leader, and then you increase or you add on Data Vault. Data Vault definitely it's got to be more popular as a base than any other green at the moment right now, even more so than ECL. And that extra 3 health and adding more cards into your deck, having that 60 card count, definitely helps you maintain or control the flow of the game, especially when you start putting in stuff like restore and stuff into the deck. It just makes it harder for your opponent to reach that goal to destroy the enemy's base. Of course, there are counters for it, but not everybody tends to play like card control. That would definitely be the answer for this particular deck. So it's kind of evolved over time to become a top deck. I don't know if I would call it overly oppressive, because it does need to have a couple of things go in a row, and there are also ways for you to stop the restore process. I mean, you have stuff like Shield Gate, which prevents healing. That prevents damage to the base, right? You got the Tri Fighters in red that prevent bases from being regenerated. Same thing with like Wolf in red as well, that prevents bases from being healed. You have mechanics like that help take away some of the power that Yoda has. So that's something to maybe consider as side deck if you're running those particular type of stuff, or just making sure they have ways to answer some of their restore tactics on there. Things that can exhaust or waylay units away that have restore is another way to do that as well. So there's definitely different answers there. It's just because they're not stuff that's readily spread out throughout the meta, or because there are other stronger cards that do more direct damage. It's just the reason why you're not seeing that as well. And Yoda kind of is sitting in a pretty good perfect storm of what makes it good right now in the current meta.
All right, so let's look a little bit about matchups, right? Let's look at some of the matchups. So according to SWU stats, its best matchups are Gar ECL,
yeah,
CAD Tarkentown.
That's a little bit weird to me, honestly, because the Gar ECL tends to play a lot of like shielded units, right? So they don't tend to die.
I would think that too, but it has only. I mean, in fairness, it's a
you lose out in the end game, so that's probably a majority of it.
Yeah. And then Vader, 30 health yellow, right? Like, which makes a little bit of sense because they have enough restore and the ability to absorb some of that damage and take out the few things that you need to take out in Vader to stop him. Now, it says, according to it, the worst matchups are Han 2 ECL, right? Palpatine yellow, which we're going to talk about this in a minute, because that's crazy to me. That the current Palpatine yellow is better than this. Like, that's like, I don't know. And then Sabine ECL, of all things, Sabine ECL is like up there.
Fast aggro and better late game stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I did pull some stats from one of the other sites, right? And so if we look at the other sites, this deck is obviously designed to counter Anakin Data Vaults, which is what the prominent thing was during that time, right? It has a 67% win against that, 65% win rate against Han, 30 health. And this is where Sam says he never had a Yoda problem, but I feel like that's a Yoda problem right here, right? It does not like Piat JTL. And we ignore the unknown. It doesn't like Kira. It doesn't like Sabine. But then it feasts on Boba, Vader, and it really hates Han 2 ECL, which we saw above, right? The other one that it doesn't seem to like is Rey Data Vault, which I guess makes a little bit of sense because your restore is better in Rey Data Vault.
Go a little bit faster, and like your end games are very similar.
Han Solo Blue, so Han 1 Blue, baby. It doesn't like.
No, that's Han 2 Blue. Han
What's
Blue,
that?
2 Blue Force. That's what that is.
Oh, Han 2 Blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes more sense then. Okay.
Yeah, Han 2 Blue Force makes a lot more sense.
And then there's the Palp Yellow again, and then Kylo Data Vault and Palpatine Blue. So the counter is Palpatine Blue, which I feel is pretty well positioned in this meta. Like, we don't have a ton of aggro right now.
Yep.
So what you're telling me is everybody wants to run the. It sucks. We don't have a PQ for like over a month, so I can't test this theory, unfortunately. But I would like to test this theory next week or whatever. Somebody host a PQ quickly in Michigan area, so me and Alex can take Palpatine Blue and just go crush all the Yodas.
I got a PQ in 2.5 weeks here in Raleigh, so I'm saying.
Okay, take Palpatine Blue. There you go. That or Yoda Data Vault. So I think a couple of things, right? I think one of the questions, and I will give credit to Wu where credit's due. Wu's a very good player, right? So we are going to look at Wu's deck in just a few minutes. But I think the question becomes is Wu also had this video that says, should we be using Data Vault all the time? And basically was made an argument that we should not be using Data Vault as much as what we have. Now, while I disagree with him a little bit, in some of his choices. Like, I still think Boba Data Vault is fine. Boba 4 Data Vault is fine. We're seeing, their argument can be made with more concise lists. Can you aggressively tech against Yoda? So the question I have is, does Yoda feast on these other decks because Data Vault is more prominent, as you could see in this list, right? And because the correct choice would be for them to go with a 30 health base, 10 less cards, and have actually more cards to specifically deal with Yoda's problem. Do we feel that maybe there's a Data Vault problem with too many people playing Data Vault, and that's why this Yoda, where it correctly works with, is feasting on some of these other decks? What do you think?
You said a lot of words. No, I mean, like, it's a lot of it is what I've been, what I've been explaining to people. It's like, hey, again, faster aggro, better end game stuff. Like, people are really teching for like the big boogeyman stuff, which is decently represented, but not nearly as like hugely. It's not like a majority of the tournament is like was Anakin, right? And it's not like a majority of these tournaments are like Yoda Data Vault. Yeah, they might be the most popular deck, but it's not like you're playing them 4 out of the 6 rounds.
Yep.
So, like, I don't know. It's the homogeneity is kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, I'm always going to recommend just play like blue green villainy stuff.
Sure.
Or just play the mirror and hope that you have initiative. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. just play for the 50-50 they have initiative.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I wondered if the Data Vault choice is just what's holding up some of these other decks. Is that why? Like, because Yoda, it does show Yoda has bad matchups. The Han 2 ECL felt a little weird that was like so dominating over Yoda. But maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe that's the right call. Like, because
it's fast. The tempo swings you get out of it is pretty wild.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the majority of it, right? And it's
exactly. That you can really build strong units quickly that can help beat down Yoda if they need to, or just swing into the base faster than they can heal. And if you're Yoda, if you're the Yoda player and you don't have the responses to those particular units, if you can't have a way to remove those units fast enough, then your 1 or 2 restore is not going to do much in terms of the amount of damage that those units are playing. So that's probably why that matchup wins most of the time, and usually I'll win by like turn 4 or 5, just depending on the how strong those units become in that short amount of time. Especially if they spend a turn to like resupply.
Sure. Way to rub it in, JJ.
I don't know. I mean, like, people say the 3 health on Data Vault super matters. I tend not to believe them. Sure, it stops you from being like put into like kind of like check, like chess. That's usually the analogy that people give you. It gives you an extra tempo there where you might not have had it before. You can also do that by just playing differently, honestly. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't ever want, like, I don't think Data Vault needs to be banned. Like, the decks that play Data Vault are wildly different playstyles of Data Vault. Like, they happen to have the same base because it behooves them to have the 3 extra health with 10 extra cards of better options to have for any given scenario. But like, they all play wildly differently. Like Kira does not play at like Anakin at all, who does not play like Boba Data Vault, who does not play like Yoda Data Vault, who doesn't play like Luke Pilot Data Vault. Like, they're all way different play styles. They just happen to use the same green base because green's really good right now, and they printed a lot of really good green cards that are just really versatile. And the meta's slow enough that the green cards matter with their resourcing, which is like their whole shtick, right? Is they're good for resources. They ramp. They play some big units, but now they got like some really good sentinels, some really good units to let you go wider.
So why do we feel, and I guess since you're the resident Han player today, why do we feel this beats Han 1 green? Because they play the exact same green units. Like the same green unit. Is blue just that much stronger than yellow?
It has a better endgame, like, and removal. That's mostly what it comes down to. Like, it's like Han green, like, has always been like not the great endgame deck. It's just like this really strong tempo. You get the advantage early and close it out kind of thing. Yoda's able to slow it down enough between, the various sentinels, restorers, and the ability to like also ramp with them, especially with like the double spark of hope that like Wu has in his. That like you can kind of keep pace, but you can also do things like play Vanquish or play Takedown or Rivals and Luke's. Right? Like you're able to control the Han, and the Han falters in the end game. As long as you can stall that deck out, that's what happens.
Well, the other question is and in a second we'll get to the deck, but like the other question is like you're my only hope, right? Like you kill something of Yoda's as a Han player, or you swing into something of Han's, kill your unit, you can now over ramp whatever Han's done. It doesn't. Han's 2 resource turn is inconsequential.
Han can play a 7 costed card on the 5 resource turns just as well as Yoda can.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can bring Han out, have him swing, drop a Kelleran, and then you can just bring Luke out and kill the Han.
Yeah, which then just kind of ruins the Han's day, because then he's getting rid of 2 resources. He's back to 6 resources. Yoda gets to be able to hit the 6 resources. Then they can ramp safely if they need to. Because, and again, I think that's the bigger question, right? And let's cover Wu's list, I guess, because that's the big thing. Is like, is the "You're My Only Hope" Yoda combo just powerful enough that we need to we either A, need to ban or do something about it, or B, we need to be actually teching against that? And I think we could look at Wu's runs. And do we want to go cover the runs first, or do we want to cover the list first?
I mean, it'd make more sense to cover the list first.
Okay. Because
I don't see how the runs are totally relevant.
Well, because the question is what is he playing against that he's beating? Because that's one of Wu's big things is he's playing other control decks and winning. The Chancellor Palpatine Data Vault is a good example of that. He's beating Chancellor Palpatine Data Vaults. And so that's why because the other question is are you playing against Sabays, right? Like things that discard cards you need. Like Sabay has the ability to sequence correctly and can correctly sequence a certain way to be able to discard the card that you put on top with Yoda, or discard and get rid of your My Only Hope or something silly like that. So all right, let's go over the list first. Who wants to run the list now?
I mean, I can go through the list pretty quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Wu's Yoda Data Vault, I believe the only thing he's changed was the sideboard going between the 3 PQs that he had. So it's double Confiscate, triple Battlefield Marine, triple the Gonk Droid, triple Mina, triple the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing, a single Yaddle, double Spark of Hope, triple Blue Leader, triple Green Obi-Wan, triple Village Protectors, triple Resupply, triple You're My Only Hope, double Bright Hope, triple Typho, the green Typho, not the blue one from Twilight that no one's ever played, double Takedown, triple Queen Amidala, triple Vanquish, triple Resupply Carrier, double Rivals Fall, double Kelleran, triple Blue Luke, double Home One, and triple Bo-Katan. In this particular sideboard, he has a double Charge with Corruption, triple Your Escort Fighter, 1 blue Obi-Wan Sentinel, double Hyperspace Disaster, a triple Kelleran, and a triple Home One.
Yep. His sideboard has remained relatively the same.
It's mostly just a couple cards here or there. Yeah,
the difference is originally he had Traitorous in the main board, and Confiscates were in the sideboard. That was just so you know, that was the difference. In his second one, he got rid of the Traitorous and went directly to just Confiscates in the main board. And that's why, excuse me, that's why you see, the big change, right? And he tried Direct Hit out, I guess.
I mean, it's a solid card. If he was having issues with space, Direct Hit's fantastic. But he seems to have that pretty covered. I'm sure that's why he removed it.
Yes. And then that's when the Charge with Corruption was the other sideboard cards that he put in there. Now, I have not watched his video to know if he's going to even keep the board the same. My assumption is he'll probably leave this deck alone for a while and go play something different. But I could be wrong, I
He's
guess.
gonna go play Kira.
Maybe he will go back to Kira. I don't know.
That
It's
would be
funny.
wild.
He could just own just blue and green cards for his whole life, and he could probably just sell everything else he owns. But yeah, so that's what the deck is. So if we look at the different runs that he had, right? So what I've done is I took 3 of his and 1 of somebody else's, just to kind of see if there's a difference between it. So the first one, he lost 1 to a Boba Data Vault and 1 to a Cad Bane.
What? Where?
He's not losing rounds. He's dropping games.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm just like, that makes more sense.
Yeah. But so if you look in his run, he beat, there's the Vader. He beat the Cad Bane, Poe Dameron. If you could beat Vader, you could beat Poe pretty easily. Boba seems to be different. It's though the things show that he's not. He beat Duncan Howard. Ironically enough, he beat Duncan Howard's Heart Control Deidre deck.
Well, that Deidre deck's not Heart Control. We went over it last week or 2 weeks ago.
You're right. You're right.
It's not Heart Control.
It's not like my deck. No.
Yeah, it's not designed to function like a Heart Control deck.
It's control or Heart Control adjacent.
Yeah, honestly.
And then he draws the Anakin and the Piat, right? In the top, he plays a mirror match, beats it, which makes sense, right? Beats Duncan again, and then beats the Anakin, which I think makes sense. This deck does definitely feel very good into Anakin. Like, holy crap.
That's what it was made for, right?
Yeah. The next run is he beat a Deidre. I'm guessing that's blue as well. I don't know what that
is. Yes.
Okay. And then he beat a Han, a Piat, a Yoda. He drew to the Gar and to the Anakin. Then he beats the Piat. He beat a Palpatine, which is a Palpatine blue, which that's crazy to me that he beat that Palpatine blue. And then he after that beat a Iden Data Vault deck.
Yep, that's the kind of weird part to me there too. But wasn't that the one that was like went to time?
No, that's the third one.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, the third PQ.
Oh, I see this. Not the Iden, not the Palp. My bad.
Yes, the third PQ. He played an IG-88 deck.
Brilliant, just brilliant.
Yeah. A Gar Saxon, a Palpatine Data Vault, a different one than in the finals. Another Palpatine Data Vault, Han Solo. He also drew to the Sabé, which if you look at it, he didn't actually play any Sabés at all, he didn't even play a lot of yellow against any of these outside of the Vader and that Palp. Oh, he didn't even play the Palp yellow. So he actually isn't playing yellow. So he swerved and missed all these yellows completely.
Must be nice.
Outside of the Han Solos, right? And we already talked about, because Han Solo has moved to a pseudo aggro tempo deck, that Han Solo is completely different than what we would normally see. I pulled one other record, somebody else that also played the same week, that last week with it, and it looks like they beat a Darth Maul deck, which okay. They beat another Yoda. They beat a DJ, which again probably makes sense. Because it was a Lake Country DJ. I don't even know what that deck does.
We covered it at some point, I think.
No, I think we covered a DJ blue deck. We covered a blue deck. He beat another Yoda, and then drew into a Yoda and drew into a Vader. Then in the top cut, one against the Han, one against the Vader again, and then beat out another Yoda Data Vault in the finals. So this tells me do not play Yoda Data Vault, Chris, because you are going to absolutely hate playing mirror matches. I hate playing mirror matches like nobody's business. But the big thing you're seeing here is you're not seeing a lot of yellow, right? The DJ is yellow, but I don't consider I'm just
That's
not
not
going
a
to
real
consider.
deck. It's fine.
Yeah, the DJ. Like I hate saying that, but that's what that feels like, right? And so like we're seeing what all this is winning to, and it's not playing like the Sabades. It does okay. In fairness, it does beat. He has had success against the Cad Bane, but we haven't seen this play at Quinlan. So if we scroll back up, I don't even see Quinlan in here. Where like I don't see Quinlan as a deck that he's played against, or that Yoda Data Vault play. Oh, it has a 75% win rate against it. Okay, so I do see it. There it is. But the question is like, is there yellow decks that can beat this? Like, can a double yellow deck beat this? Could a double yellow Han beat this? Right? Could a double yellow Sabay beat this? Could we tweak other yellow decks to actually be able to play that creates discard? We don't like these decks are not playing discard. He doesn't have graveyard mechanics in this Yoda deck. And so like if you look at this run, it feels very linear. Like it feels like it's a lot of hero. It feels like swarm decks and mid-range decks. And not outside of the 1 week, that 1 week he played a ton of control. So he's beating Chancellor Palpatine's Data Vault decks, which we already talked about is not a hard, like people don't play it like we do. And
Right.
outside of that, Iden and that Palp Blue, like I would be very interested to have Wu on the show and actually talk about that, because like the question I have is like, if hard control doesn't beat this, and that's why I want to do the whole segment. So this is the whole crux of the whole thing is if hard control cannot beat this, if soft control cannot beat this, if mid-range can't beat this, and if aggro is not beating this, what beats this then? And because that's the true question, and that's when we have to start talking about whether this is a tier S deck or not. Because Wu makes this look like a tier S deck, 100%. But the question becomes when we look at the other guy that ran Wu's deck. I mean, and his deck's almost identical to Wu's. He's not playing against a bunch of hard control at all. He's playing mirror matches, and a couple of weird decks. Like Darth Maul's not a serious deck to like. Sorry, Darth Maul's fun. It's fun to play. It's just not a seriously competitive deck. DJ is not a seriously competitive deck. And I genuinely understand why Yoda can beat Vader. Like, I do understand how Yoda actually beats Vader. So,
I mean, for me, I think that, for a deck to be S tier, it has to be something that's repeatable, right? You compare like previous S tier decks and like earlier metas like Sabine and Boba, right? You had multiple players being able to replicate the same success with that particular style of deck. When it's limited to one player in particular, maybe two or three, then
but we're not seeing that, JJ. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
We're seeing multiple people having, like last PQ weekend, Yoda Data Vault won 3 PQs.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's too early to call it S tier deck. It definitely has the potential to be that way. I think I would like to have a little more data just to help support it, and we're probably going to see that in the coming weeks with more PQs coming back. At that point, we can have a definitive answer whether or not it is. My gut feeling is that it's not there yet, but it is pretty close. It's like a very high A tier deck. The other part of the problem too is, what decks they were facing in order for them to make it to the high levels, right? It's because a lot of times, sometimes you have the luck of the draw where you just have a couple of like non-serious decks that you face, and they're easier to beat with this particular style of deck because they don't really have the correct answers for it, for this style of deck, and they make it. And other times you have players that, you have people who are playing Yoda Data Vault and they don't make it all the way. So it just really depends. And that's what I'm saying. Like right now, it's hard to call it an S tier deck, and at least in my opinion. And so we have a little more information for PQs, but we'll definitely have that probably by next month for sure, a definitive answer.
Alex?
I mean, I don't think it's an S tier deck. I think it's strong. I think Wu is an S tier player. But I don't know. I wouldn't put stuff in my deck. Like I don't know what you would put into like specifically deck against this. Like, I don't think there's cards that you'd insert at all to to specifically counter this. I don't think there's not much to counter it. I think it's just a very good 50-50 deck, and if you're very good at making the correct decisions, they can go really well.
Well, I think the thing is we've seen, if we go back to the statistics, right? Like you go back to the statistics, and the week 3 is the week we should see it drop. But yet, instead of it dropping, it raised back up, and that's, to me, that's
Why
the bigger.
would you expect it to drop?
Well, because now you're having more and more people. So 2 weeks of success, you would think by the 3rd week, you would have even more people playing it, and the more people that play a deck, the lower it goes, right? So like, okay, Vader, people thought Vader was this tier S deck originally, right? Because there was like 5 or 6 of us. We were one of the top represented decks in Richmond, period. But once people figured out how to play against it, right? It was not a tier S deck. It's not. It's genuinely not a tier S deck. It's just not. Because more and more people continue to play it, the numbers go down. So the win rate conversions go down.
Do we know how many people like jumped aboard from week 2 to 3?
We lost 1%. It lost
of people
share. Yes.
Well,
So it went
guess
down.
There's your answer, right?
So
if
yeah,
less
so
people are playing it, then by what you said, it would go up, right? Typically.
No, you would see it not. You would not see it like that much. Okay, when I had 2% of people playing, it hit a 58% win rate. Now I've got 9.5% of people winning, and I have a 60% win rate. That should not happen. We should see that scale, that win rate, come down closer to that 50%. That's technically what should happen. Now maybe it's just all the really good players are playing it. That could be an anomaly. It could be that they're playing against like decks like Wu has. Wu just seems to be the outlier in terms of like him being able to crush the majority of the decks he's playing against. Though he has not had to play against ECL Sabine. He hasn't had to play
ECL Han, right?
Or an ECL Han. Yeah. Either. And so he hasn't had to play certain aggro/hard aggro style decks.
Doesn't look like he played Han 2 at all.
No, he hasn't.
Which generally does really well into these
according
decks.
to the statistics. Yes, exactly. And that's like, so again, like some of it is swerving and missing, right? I also think Han 2 is on the rise, whereas before it was not. And I think Han 2 is on the rise because people are calling this out as a counter deck to Yoda. I don't know if that's really true or not, because I've not spent any time testing it, because Han 2 ECL is not what I would play. I would play the Data Vault version in a heartbeat over the ECL version. And I probably just don't play Hero, if we're being honest. I just don't play very much Hero. So I don't know. I'm not trying to sound the alarm and say, hey, oh my God, the world's falling, right? I'm not saying we should have immediate bans or changes. Like, I definitely don't think we go and ban Data Vault, and I don't think we ban Yoda at this point, right? In any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm not advocating for any sort of meta changes, other than it would be fun if you brought Jango and Boba back, just so I could play Jango and Boba in this meta. But I don't care that much. You know, that's just Tanner being selfish to be able to play Boba again.
I don't think any card right now or base is really worth a ban. Honestly, I think the game is very well balanced.
Yeah. But I think the question becomes is how do we stop this Yoda train? And like, if you're playing against Yoda, it's the same thing.
Aggro.
Oh. Okay, well, if maybe that's the answer, right? Maybe.
Because there hasn't really been, like, this meta hasn't been like super aggro. I mean, like, the Anakins can go kind of wide and they're sticky with the Karis and the Padmes, but it's not like that's an aggro deck. No one really played too much aggro in this meta.
Yeah. That's not traditional aggro deck. That's more like a tempo deck, right? Or even a mid-range deck, because you're not really, like, you don't even have any end game. You have no end game, really. Your end game is Anakin unit.
Right. Or like home one occasionally. Or, well, I mean, like, Kelleran swings for 7. That's pretty big, but
yeah. Because I would consider Yoda like the very peak end of that mid-range, and I think Bo-Katan is like, we've recognized Bo-Katan was a thing. I have Bo-Katan in my Ray deck. I have a Ray Data Vault deck right here. Like, Ray Data Vault.
I was really happy that Blue finally got a finisher in their things, because it felt like the Ray, like mono blue Ray I was playing. Right now I have a finisher with Bo-Katan and Captain Rex.
Mm-hmm. So and that's fine. And like I said, I'm not trying to say this is an S tier deck. What I'm trying to say is we should be all having a conversation around this, especially as in a competitive community, because I think if you're going to go to a PQ, you're going to see this. You're going to see this for at least 2 weeks until somebody figures out how to continue to tamper some of this down. And if aggro is the way to tamper it down, because aggro beats hard control and soft control most of the time, and then aggro can beat this Yoda deck, then what you will do is you'll see the Yoda deck fall off, you'll see aggro come back, and then you'll see some of these other mid-range, such as the Han2s, like Han2 Blue, Han2 Data Vault, you'll see some of the other things, or you'll see Han 1 actually adapt to be a mid-range deck instead of being the stupid BS aggro deck that it is. And I will flat out say, Sam, if you ever bring Han 1 again, like 2 locals, I will take Yoda and just leave Yoda up and just play Yoda against you, I guess, because it just beats it. So like I don't want to play against Han 1 anymore because I think it's boring and I'm sick of playing against Han 1. And I would say the same thing, like I'll just start playing Yoda, I guess, or Trench.
Man, you got to come to my locals where no one really plays the meta stuff. We got fun decks. We got people playing like Avar, like Dryden Blue Force. I had Gar ECL, but it's like my Gar ECL, Java, Slimeore, Bale.
I've been playing a lot of Third Sister lately, and actually, I really like Third Sister.
There's been a fair amount of like Third Sister decks like that's been flowing around. A couple of my locals are really excited to play it.
Yeah, I think it has legs, at least after rotation. I think it has legs. Because a lot of the cards that I play in it, I don't need, outside of like Surprise Strike and the stupid Hotshot Blaster, right? Like, when we all lose Smuggle, we all lose Smuggle. So,
yep.
It'll be a very sad day when we lose Smuggle. Except for you'll be excited because nobody will tell you to put a Forlom in your deck anymore. You'll be like, I can't. It's banned.
Forlom.
Oh, not Forlom. I'm sorry. Lompike.
There you go. I don't care. I'm not putting that in my deck.
I know you hate that card. It's funny.
I hate the card.
You do too. You hate that card. You hate it.
I don't hate the card, and it's like I have it in Lamasu because it really works in Lamasu.
So in a conclusion, we probably don't have a Yoda problem yet, but we probably should be spending a little bit more time playing against the Yodas and maybe playing decks that counter the Yoda a little bit better to kind of push it out of the PQs. Or let it stay, and at the end of January, I could play my Palpatine Blue deck, and I will actually be very excited because I'll get to play Palpatine Blue in a PQ. So,
nice.
Not saying that's what I'm taking for the PQ, but all right. Well, that said, let's wrap up for the night. Thank you all. This is the last cast of 2025, baby. Woo!
Yeah, it's been a great year for us.
Yeah, so if you have not, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You could join us on Patreon if you would like to help support the show and maybe help JJ get to Vegas so he could play in a Twin Suns tournament. Because if they have one, you have to come play in the Twin Suns tournament with me. So, competitive tournament, at least.
Let's do it.
So, with that being said, thank you all. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the Flippity Flop.
Have a great night, everybody, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Happy 2025.